China confirms U.S. warship near collision. China says one of its warships encountered a U.S. vessel, confirming U.S. reports of a near collision in the South China Sea earlier this month. The U.S. said its guided missile cruiser USS Kelpens was forced to take evasive action as the two ships neared each other on 5 December. It has been described as the most serious Sino-U.S. confrontation in the South China Sea since 2009. However, China said the incident was handled with strict protocol. The U.S. has said its ship was operating in international waters. But China claims parts of the South China Sea, and a state-run newspaper quoted an expert as saying that the U.S. boat had been harassing China's aircraft carrier, the Liaoning. Strict protocol. The incident came to light last week after U.S. officials spoke about the incident. While lawfully operating in international waters in the South China Sea, USS Kelpens and a People's Liberation Army Navy vessel had an encounter that required maneuvering to avoid a collision, a U.S. Pacific Fleet statement said. Eventually, the two crews were able to communicate and both vessels maneuvered to ensure safe passage, an unnamed defense official was quoted by Reuters as saying. The U.S. had raised the incident at a high level with China, an unnamed State Department official quoted by U.S. military newspaper Stars and Stripes said. In a statement on Wednesday, China's defense ministry said the two ships met during a routine patrol by one of China's naval vessels. The Chinese naval vessel strictly followed protocol and handled the incident, it said. The two defense departments used normal working channels to stay informed about the situation and communicated effectively. The statement added, without elaborating, that some media reports about the event were untrue. On Monday, China's state-run newspaper Global Times said the U.S. vessel had posed a threat to China's military security, and quoted an unnamed source as saying that USS Kelpens had been tailing after and harassing the Chinese aircraft carrier, known as the Liaoning. The incident came amid tensions after China established an air defense identification zone at DIZ over a swath of the East China Sea, including disputed islands controlled by Japan. Japan, the U.S. and South Korea, which claims Iraq that lies within China's declared zone, have strongly criticized the move, with the U.S. calling it an attempt to unilaterally change the status quo in the region. On Tuesday, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said the East China Sea Air Zone should not be implemented and China should refrain from taking similar unilateral actions elsewhere in the region and in particular, over the South China Sea. In 2009, the U.S. government said 5 Chinese ships aggressively maneuvered close to an unarmed U.S. Navy surveillance vessel in international waters in the South China Sea. However, China described the U.S. reports as totally inaccurate, and said the ship was conducting activities within China's exclusive economic zone.